How's it going, everybody? This is Hurls. This is another special episode of the Heelcast. Today I am going to be reviewing Rise of the Knockouts. It was a Twitch show, part of the Impact Twitch specials that they give generally every month. Like I said, I'm going to be reviewing more of the one night onlys and more of the Twitch shows that have been doing every month. So without further ado, let's get started with Rise of the Knockouts. So we're joined in progress with a match with Madison, Rayne, and Kikyo, and I was really shocked as to why they did not broadcast the first three matches that we were supposed to get. It didn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm guessing they must have had some sort of technical difficulties or technical glitches. I'm not really sure on what was the story there, but the first match was Madison, Rayne, and Kikyo. Kikyo she's a bigger girl, but she moved well. Madison, Rayne, played up the smaller wrestler, going up against the bigger wrestler pretty well. It was a solid opener, I guess you could say. It was an opener for us because that was the first match that we got. It was decent. Nothing of note that really stuck out, though. Nothing too great. So then the second match we had was Kimber versus Shazza McKenzie. I forgot to say Madison Rayne does win the match, by the way. But anyways, going to Kimber versus Shazza McKenzie. Shazza McKenzie had a really interesting gimmick. She was from Australia, kind of happy-go-lucky. Kimber is more of a brute, so to speak. And this was kind of interesting since I think it was Kimber third match since being released from NXT. So these two had a pretty good match, and I actually enjoyed both of their work. I thought it was pretty good. They did a good job, and Kimber ended up getting the win. But I was really impressed with Kimber, and I was also really impressed with Shazza McKenzie. So hopefully Impact gives both of them a look, because I think they could definitely bring something to the division itself. As far as the match, nothing great, but I would say it was actually better than Madison Rayne versus Kikyo. The False Count Anywhere was next. This was maybe the highlight of the night for probably most people. It was Saraya Knight taking on Su Yung for the Knockouts title. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen Saraya Knight. I know she's a legend in the UK. Her daughter is obviously Paige. So there's a lot of, family history with her, and I was just kind of blown away by how tall Saraya Knight actually is. She was taller than I expected her to be. Literally the only other time I ever saw her on TV was from the show Total Divas. She was on there a couple episodes, I think, but this match was really fun. Pretty hardcore for two knockouts. They did some really cool stuff. Saraya Knight, she's a little crazy. I want to give credit to Kyle, a former Heelcast member. He's still not a former. I should say a co-Heelcast member. He said that he thinks Impact should sign Saraya Knight and kind of use her as that crazy veteran a la Terry Funk in ECW type role, and I totally agree with him after watching this match. I think she did some really impressive work. Her and Su Yung put on an awesome match. It got hardcore. Fans were really into it, but it ends up Su Yung wins the match. I believe she did a DDT to Saraya Knight for the finish. It was on the concrete, and she was able to get the win. But, you know, they used most of the building. They went all over the crowd, and, you know, they were using chairs and everything you could think of, ropes and ladders, and it was a fun match. I think it was definitely match of the night for me. This is the one you want to watch. It's really good, and there's obviously history between these two, so it made sense, you know, to have these two wrestle on a bigger show for Rise, especially since it was, you know, broadcasted on Twitch. So pretty cool there. The next match that we had a 4-way tag team elimination match. We had the team of Blue Nation, which was Jessica Troy and Charli Evans. For the second, we had Fire and Nice. We had Britt Baker and Chelsea Green. The third team was Raven Ash and Dust. They were with Rosemary. I'm not sure if if they have, like, if this was just for one night or they're actually a faction on the indies. So I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me that they are a faction. And then the fourth team we had was Kylie Ray and Miranda Alize, who I really liked, by the way. They were Wiley and something. I can't remember their team name, but they were pretty cool. Overall, this match was very interesting. We know who Chelsea Green is. She used to be Laurel Van Ness in Impact, and now she's on the indies as Chelsea Green, former Knockouts champion. It was quite a show. Chelsea Green ended up actually turning on Britt Baker in this match, so that's pretty much why they got eliminated. And the final two teams were Raven Ash and Dust and Team Blue Nation. Kylie Ray and Miranda Alize got eliminated first. So yeah, not too good there. But we had Raven Ash and Dust taking the match. Raven Ash was very tall. I want to say at least 6'2". She looked pretty tall, though, for a knockout. And Dust was pretty cool as well. She kind of had like this Raven style gimmick kind of going on for her. And Rosemary almost seemed to be playing the heel as she managed them, but she did a very good job as well. I thought this match was pretty fun. Obviously, when you have 4 tag teams in elimination style, it definitely is very intriguing to see which team gets eliminated. I thought they all did a really good job. The crowd seemed to be into this, so that was pretty cool. But overall, I think this match was pretty good. Wasn't better than Su Yung versus Saraya Knight, but it was definitely entertaining. So then after this match, believe it or not, we had the main event already, since we did not get the first 3 matches broadcasted to us. So to my understanding is Shotzi Blackheart was supposed to wrestle Delilah something. Excuse me, I don't want to sound uneducated on this, but I want to say Delilah Doom. They were supposed to wrestle for the Rise Championship, but both of them were actually injured. Shotzi Blackheart broke her ankle, and I believe Delilah was also injured. So they had to get Mercedes Martinez. Okay, she was in the Mae Young Classic. I want to say originally was supposed to be in this match as well. So I think it was going to be a 3-way for the Rise Championship. But obviously with Shotzi and Delilah injured, they had to get somebody else. Well, Tessa Blanchard stepped up to the plate, and these two were, basically Mercedes Martinez was calling out anyone pretty much, and Tessa answers the call, and Mercedes was basically like, you realize this is not a normal match? You realize this is an Iron Woman match? And Tessa Blanchard basically said, yeah, I did realize that. I'm still challenging you. So these two were in an Iron Woman match, and it was very good, very good, very good wrestling action. I felt, they both competitors did really good. Obviously, we know what Tessa can do. This is my first time seeing Mercedes Martinez. I know she's been around a while on the indies. I believe she also was a former MMA fighter, and obviously she's been in the Mae Young Classic. But these two put on a really good show, and it ended up being your standard Iron Woman match, 2-1, with Tessa Blanchard winning it all. So, pretty awesome that Tessa Blanchard was able to step up to the plate and wrestle twice. She did a very good job, and they put on a really good show. It was a really good main event. I would say match of the night, I would say was probably the Iron Woman match, but I think that more entertaining one had to go with Su Yung versus Saraya Knight. I think that was probably the more entertaining one. It was a really fun, really fun show, but it just felt very incomplete. The whole technical issues where we didn't get to see the first 3 matches, they might be posted now, but I haven't seen them anywhere. But I think that kind of hurt the show in general. Probably not for the live crowd, obviously, because they got to see them, but for the viewers, we didn't get to see it. So that was kind of a negative. As far as, if I'm ranking them to the other Twitch shows, I would say that this one probably was I don't know if it was the worst one, but it was close. Okay. I would say that I would say it was probably tied with either Canadian Collision, or no, was it I'm really bad today. I apologize for that, but the Brace for Impact was pretty fun, but then it was the one after that I would say wasn't the best. But I would say this one, Rise of the Knockouts, was probably the worst, just because of the issues we had. Not saying there wasn't good action, because there was. It was a fun show, like they all are. Still not better than Lucha Underground versus Impact, and definitely wasn't better than Penta does Iowa. But having said that, still very fun to watch. Out of 10, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10, just because of the whole, the issues that happened with the whole thing. So very fun to watch. You can still go watch it on Twitch, free show, and obviously it's going to come to the Global Wrestling Network eventually. So hopefully they'll have all the matches there, and maybe I'll do a quick review on the matches that we didn't get to see. But overall, 6.5 out of 10, match of the night. Going to go the main event, the 30-minute Iron Woman match between Tessa Blanchard and Mercedes Martinez for the Rise champion. Rise Out of the Ashes champion, I believe, is the full name of it. And Tessa Blanchard ends up winning it. Very good match. A lot of back and forth action, what you look for. Crowd was pretty good. I'm not going to lie, there wasn't a ton of people there. There was a decent amount for the building they were in, but it definitely seemed like they could have gotten more. And the crowd I think they did their best. I know Chicago crowds are usually pretty good. This was actually in Naperville, which is a suburb of Chicago, but still, I still count it as Chicago. I thought the crowd could have been a little better, but they weren't bad by any means. So, Rise of the Knockouts, yeah, I think 6.5 out of 10. Hopefully, the next Twitch event, which I believe is on July 29th, it's an AML wrestling event versus Impact. Hopefully that one will be better. But, yeah, that's what I'm giving this one. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. And I will definitely be on the post Slammiversary show. It's going to be live, hopefully. So it's going to be right after Slammiversary. So make sure you tune into our YouTube channel and possibly our Twitch channel, because we're going to have a live post show with. We're hoping to get a bunch of different people on the show, and not just Heelcast members. It's going to be other people outside the Heelcast too, potentially. So I think that's going to be really fun. I'm very excited to talk about Slammiversary and what's going to happen. The Heelcast has already put their preview show up already. I'm just going to give you my preview picks real close because I was not on that show. So I figure while I'm doing this, might as well give you my Slammiversary picks. So we'll start off with Su Yung versus Madison Rayne. I think Su Yung goes over here. I don't see Madison Rayne winning. I think this is just a way for Su Yung. I don't want to say bide her time, but I think Su Yung is going to take this match and keep the title. Tessa Blanchard versus Allie. This is definitely Tessa Blanchard. I think Tessa wins without a doubt. I just think there's more going for her right now than with Allie. Allie, she'll rebound, but they just got to figure out what they're going to do. I think this is just kind of a feud to where they can kind of think about what these two are going to do. And no disrespect to it, I think the match will be fine. I just think that the feud just kind of came out of nowhere because it seemed like they didn't have a lot to do and they needed something for Slammiversary. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with this. As far as the four-way between Johnny Impact, Desmond Xavier, P.D. Williams, and Ishimori, I think that Johnny Impact is going to win that match. I think because it's his return, he's going to be coming off Survivor. I think it's the easiest thing to do is to have him win this match. So I think that would be the right booking choice, and I'm going to have him also. I'm picking him to win. As far as, let's see here, the LAX versus the OGs, this one's going to be very interesting, but I feel like, it's for the tag team titles. I feel like LAX is going to win, even though the OGs probably should win. Change it. I'm going to go the OGs. I think this is going to be tough. I think Eddie Kingston's involvement in this whole thing, the King, I think this is the deciding factor, and I think the OGs are going to win the titles again for the first time in I don't know how many years, but it's been a long time. So I think they will take the match. So that's it. Brian Cage versus Matt Sydal. Man, Matt Sydal has had that title for so long, but I think Brian Cage wins it, and I think they're going to keep the Impact streak going and keeping that strong. I think that Brian Cage is going to be the next X Division champion. And it may upset some people because maybe they don't think he's, they associate X Division with cruiserweights, but it's not always the case. We've had Samoa Joe, we've had Abyss, so, but at least Brian Cage can kind of work that style, where Abyss, it was just kind of him trying to destroy the division. So I think I think it's more along the lines of Samoa Joe, where they can kind of do the high flying stuff. So, I think that Brian Cage will take this match. I don't see Matt Sydal escaping, that's for sure. All right, Pentagon Jr. versus Sami Callihan, mask versus hair. I think this one's kind of obvious. I think Pentagon Jr. wins this one. There's no way you can kill off his mask, right? I mean, there's no way you can legitimately take off Pentagon Jr.'s mask and have him be the same character. I just think it's not going to work. I think Sami Callihan is going to get his head shaved. I think that's the logical choice here. There's no reason he needs his hair. He doesn't really need it, where I think Pentagon Jr. needs the mask. So my pick is Pentagon Jr. wins that one. Eddie Edwards versus Tommy Dreamer in a House of Hardcore match. I think all signs point to Dreamer taking the pinfall and Eddie Edwards just going crazy. Maybe potentially somehow turning Eddie Edwards heel in the process, possibly. I'm not positive, but I think Eddie Edwards wins this match. I think Tommy Dreamer is just there to kind of put him over and really establish Eddie Edwards' character. Excuse me. But I think Eddie Edwards takes that one and gets the W there. I'm not sure what if Alicia's going to have any involvement into it. She might, and it would be quite the direction if somehow she turns on Tommy. So that'll be interesting. I don't know if I suspect that's going to happen, but you never know. She'll be a factor in this. And then finally, the main event, Moose versus Austin Aries. I think the right move would be, I've been pushing for Moose. I knew it was going to be Moose's year. And I still do. I think Moose wins this match because there's no way you bring D'Angelo Williams back if it's not to give his buddy some type of credibility going in the main event. I think Moose does win it. I don't know. I'm not sure I liked the build-up, so to speak. I think it's been okay. I think they've done great with the promo work and the vignettes we've been seeing, but I just think it was a little rushed at certain points. I think this should have been, kind of going a little longer than it has. I think the seed should have been planted probably before Redemption. I know they went Alberto El Patron, but I think it should have been Moose a little bit. So I just wish we had longer build up to this feud. I think Moose wins. I think we get the good guy going over in Toronto. I think Austin Aries takes the pinfall, but I also wouldn't be shocked if Austin Aries wins this because he does have, I think he's got some good momentum going right now as a heel. I don't know if Impact was planning on him to be a heel, but I think he does got some momentum going, but ultimately Moose is going to win the title at Slammiversary. That's my pick. So those are my Slammiversary picks. I can't wait to watch the show. I think it's going to be a fun show. And they just announced that the venue is sold out for Slammiversary, so that's going to be awesome. So, all right, this is Hurls. I hope you enjoyed my review of Rise of the Knockouts, and I hope you liked my Slammiversary Pick'em preview. That's it.